Dear students, today we will see some more programs related to the usage of strings. Already we have discussed about the basics of string, how to read, how to print, and how to implement various simple programs using strings. Now let us see some more programs, and mainly we are focusing on those programs that is not using any string handling functions. So the first program we are going to see is to find the length of a string without using any built-in function. So already we know that we are having a built-in function called as strlen, which is actually used for finding the length of a particular string, which will automatically return the exact length of the string excluding the last /0 special character. So this will be a very simple way in which we can find out the length. For larger programs where we require the length, there we can directly use strlen. But we should also know that how we can find the length of a string without even using this strlen. So let us see the example program. So we have already seen one more mechanism where we can easily find the length by using a simple for loop without having any body. Just by incrementing the variable, that is the iterative variable I or length, by reaching till the /0 character. So that is also another method for finding the length of a string. Similarly, we will see one more example where we are using a while loop for finding the length of a string. So let us see, we are declaring a character array str of 30. Then I am declaring an integer variable I, which is used as the index of the string array. Now enter the string and scanf %str. So already you will be knowing how to scan a string. We don't need to use ampersand while reading a character when we are using scanf. And also %s will read a character or a string until it reaches a white space or the new line character. So this will read a string. It will read a single string. Like for example, I will read a string with size 4 starting from 0, 1, 2 and 3. This is the length of string, and finally assume that in the next position we are having /0. So the size of this character array is 5, and length, we need to find the length of this array as 4. So length must return only up to the exact string. For example, the string is like A, B, C and D. Now we are simply using a loop, just like I have mentioned about using a for loop for finding the exact length until we reach this /0. Similarly, we'll check one condition. For this iteration, we are using while str of I. So str is a character array or string array with index value I starting from 0. So while stri not equal to /0, so I am setting a condition here like while stri not equal to /0. So what we are going to do is, we will first check 0th location, then that is the index I, index 0, then I will be incremented. We will check for the next I. Similarly, we will iterate through all the index locations until it reaches /0. So if it is not equal to /0, we will take everything. If it is /0, we will exit from the loop. When this condition is equal to /0, when it reaches this location, it will exit from the loop. So what we are doing inside this, so while str of I, that means first time it will check this one, str of I 0, str of 0, it is not equal to /0, right? So what we are doing, we are simply incrementing the, so initially it was 0, I will increment the value to 1. Next iteration 1, it will be incremented by 2. Next one, it will be incremented by 3. Next one, it will be incremented by 4. Next time the condition fails because it becomes /0 and it will exit from the while loop, and finally we are simply printing the integer value I will be having the value 4. Finally we are having, so that is the exact length of the string that is already being entered. So this is a very simple example. So here by using a for loop, by changing this while, we can use a for loop or any loop for finding the length. So the condition will be like until it reaches the /0 character at the end of the character array. Okay, I think it is clear. So this is sample result output, enter a string, I am entering programming, and it is returning the value of length is equal to 11, excluding the /0 character. I hope it is clear. So we will move to the next program. So next program is also a replacement of a built-in function that is called as strcpy. Strcpy is used for copying the content of one string into another string. That means I am assigning one string into another string variable. Just like I am assigning an integer value into an integer variable, I am going to assign or copy the content of one string into another string variable. Okay, so that is the purpose. So we can simply do this by using the built-in function called as what? strcpy of s1 comma s2. So this s2 content will be assigned to s1. That we already know in our set of string handling functions. So there we need to include a header file for getting these function. So here, without using that, if we are not having that header file available, we can find or we can do this copying by using a simple logic. So we will see that simple logic here. So our aim is to copy the content of one string into another string. So we require two strings. So in your program, we are declaring two strings s1 and s2 with maximum size 30. Then I am declaring a variable I with initial value 0. Then I am entering a string. I am using scanf here. I am entering the string s1. So I am entering. So we are having one value for s1. For example, s1 we are having the value like abc. For example, we are having the value abc. Assume. Now we are having another string already. We are having another string already which is not having any value. So I want to assign this abc into s2. That is our aim. So if I am writing strcpy s2 comma s1, this abc will be assigned to s2. But here I am not going to use that function. So let us see. I am using a simple while loop. While s1 of I initial value is 0. So s1 of I, first one will go to the 0th location, and it will check the condition until it reaches /0. Until it reaches /0 means after these three, in the 0, 1, 2, third position. In third position we are having /0. So while s1 of I not equal to /0, this is exactly similar to the finding of length. The condition is same, the loop condition is same as in the previous case. So here also until it reaches the /0 or the final string or the termination of the string, that location reaches, we will do the process just like finding the length or incrementing the value of I. Here also what we are going to do, I will be doing s2 of I. S2 of I means s2 of 0. is equal to S1 of I. So this A will be assigned to, that is into the 0th location of S2. So remember, the problem with this string is we cannot entirely copy by using equal to. We cannot entirely copy a string into another string by using equal to. Individual characters can be assigned by using equal to. So our aim is to completely copy this string. So internally what is happening is individual characters are to be assigned. So S2 of 0 is equal to A. Then I will be incremented. I will become 1. I will become 1. Then again next to 1. That means S1 of I, it is not equal to /0. S2 of 1, next position B will be assigned. I will be incremented once again. I will become 2. I will become 2. Then again S1 of I means 2. Second location S2 of 2. This C will be assigned. Remember? Okay. So again I plus plus, it will become 3. Then S1 of I, it reaches 3, that is /0 location, right? So when it reaches /0, it will come out of the while loop. It is very clear. Now is it a complete string? No. I have assigned in the 0th location a character A, first location B, second location C. Now this cannot be considered as a complete string until we add a /0 at the end of this string S2. So what we are doing, after exiting from this while loop, we will simply assign a /0 character into S2 of I. Now the I value is 3. S2 of 3 we are assigning a /0 character. Now it is actually a complete string. This can be considered as a complete string. So S2 of I is equal to /0 and the copied string is equal to percentages S2. Now this S2 value will be printed. Now both S1 and S2 consist of the same string. So an entire string S1 is assigned to or copied to another string that is S2. So this can be easily done by using strcpy, but if you are not having that function or header file available, we can do by assigning the index by index characters into the second array, and finally we need to append a /0 character at the end of the second string. Okay, so I think this logic is very clear. So this is the way in which we can find out copying the content of one file. So many situations when we are handling string for larger applications, sometimes we need to assign one string value into another string. So there you will think that I can do it by using S1 is equal to S2. That is not permitted. So there either I can use strcpy, or we need to do this logic character by character only. We can assign the value into the second string. Okay, I hope it is clear. You can see one sample output. Enter the string, programming, copied string is equal to programming. So this is the result obtained by using or by executing the same program. Okay, so we'll move to the next program. That is a program to concatenate. One string into another string. So what is concatenation? Concatenation means if you are having a string like ABC, I need to append XYZ, that is another string. So assume that this is S1 and this is S2. They are two different strings. Now S1 is independent, S2 is independent. So if we want to combine these two, strings into a single string, that means by moving this S2 content or appending that into the end of S1, now the value of S1, the string belongs to S1 will be ABC XYZ. So forming a string by combining that string with another string, that is called as concatenation. This can be done by using strcat, S1 comma S2. So S2 will be appended with S1 and we are getting the result into S1. That we already know by using the built-in function called as strcat. Now we will see how we can implement the same program without using any built-in function. So now we are having, I'll just draw the structure of one string like A, B and C, and we are having a /0 also, 0, 1, 2. This is called as S1, for example S1. Now similarly we will modify in program which is to be S1 or S2, we will see that. Then the second string is like XY, Z, and this is called as S2. Now let us see the program. These are two strings, both are having the same length, that is 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Now these are the declarations. S1 is one string, S2 and S3. Now S3, why we require a third string? Because the content, that means the in this example what we are trying to do is we are going to append or combine these two strings and we are storing into a third string called as S3. When we are using strcat, we can directly append that into the first one, that means the first parameter, then that string will be holding that entire combined string. But here what we are doing is we are using a third string for combining this one and this one, and the final result, this string can be utilized by combining these two. So sometimes we require these two separately and the combined form also. So there we can use this particular logic. So I am declaring two iterative variables I and j because we are using two loops here. So I am using two variables I and j, both are initialized to 0. Now enter the string 1, S1, scanf percentage S1. Second string scanf percentage S2. Now we are using two loops. One loop is for iterating through the first one and second one is used for iterating through the second one. So this is for I and this is for j. So what we need to do, I need to combine ABC and XY. That means in S3, the S3 string must consist of A, B, C, X, Y, Z and then /0. This is our aim. So S3 with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is why we are giving this third string with a maximum size larger than the other two string. We are assuming that we may get some larger value. That's why we are not using a 50 character string and all in this example. So it is permitted up to that. So what is happening with the first string while S1 of I not equal to /0? Remember, most of the string handling or string operations, we need to iterate through or we need to traverse through the individual characters starting from 0 to the last location until it reaches /0. So every time we are forming the loop by checking up to /0. So while it reaches /0, we can terminate from the loop. We can do anything up to that /0. Either we can count the different characters, or we can do any type of comparison by traversing through the entire contents of a string until it reaches /0. So you will see, first one, we are traversing through the string s1, while s1 of I not equal to /0. The same condition we are using until it reaches here s3 of I, this one s3 of I. So initially I value is 0. s3 of I is equal to s1 of I. So this will be assigned to this location. Press the I plus plus. I will become 1. This 1 will be assigned to this location s3 of 1. Then C will be assigned to this location, right? Then again it will be incremented when I becomes 3. What will happen? It reaches /0. It will exit from this loop. Then just after exiting from that loop, we are not adding a /0 here. Directly we are moving into the next while loop. While s2 of j not equal to /0, while s2 of j on this string, it is not equal to /0, exactly similar to the previous while loop condition. So s3 of I, what is s3 of I? Sorry, yes, s3 of I. So s3 is the third string array to which we are going to append the content of this. So let's just listen here. While s2 of j not equal to /0. So we are using a second iterative loop by using a j variable. So s2 is iterated through to j. We have already mentioned that. So while s2j not equal to /0, j initial value is 0. Until it reaches this /0, what we are doing s3 of I, where we are actually now s3 of I, that is here after completing this I is incremented to 3, right? So s3 of 3. So here what will happen? It will be assigning s2 of j. What is s2 of j? s2 of j is 0. s2 of j, what is that? s2 of 0. This x will be assigned to this location. Then I will be incremented once again. I will become 4. J will be incremented once again. It will become 1. Now s3 of I, s3 of 4, to which s2 of 1 will be assigned. That is, this y will be assigned to this particular location. Again I will be incremented to 5. J will be incremented to 2. Then s2 of j, s2 of 2, that is assigned to s3 of 5, that is 5. Again incremented, I incremented, okay, let it be I incremented, that means it will go to 6. Now the value of I will be 6. J will be incremented. Now when it increments j, it will reach here into the third location, that is actually /0. So it will exit from this loop also. Now after exiting, so this is our third string. So when this string will be a complete string when it is terminated with a /0 character. So into s3 of 5. Now what is the last value of I? That is 6. We are directly assigning /0. Then we are printing the concatenated string into the string variable s3. That s3 will be printed. So every string, if you are modifying, or if you are appending some value, if you are adding some value, or if you are creating a new string, that every time it can be called as a string only when it is terminated with a /0 character. Remember that even after copying or after appending or concatenation, if you don't put this /0 at the end, that cannot be considered as a string. So remember this point. For if you are creating a new string, it must be ended with a /0 carry. So that is why after everything we are appending this /0 into the last position of that particular string. Now S3 is a string which is having a length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the length of S3. Okay, so this is okay because already we have reserved 50 different space location for storing the string. So this is the program used for concatenation. If you want to combine or concatenate two different strings and form a third string, we can use this symbol logic. So all these programs, the length program, copy program and concatenation program, all these are the direct implementation, or directly we are writing the detailed code of the corresponding string handling functions like strlen, strcpy and strcat. So as a computer science student, you should know these concepts also, because everybody will try to use the built-in function, because they don't need to worry about all other condition and iteration and all. So it should also be aware by all the especially by all the CSE students. So let us see the sample output. Enter string 1 computer, string 2 programming, concatenated string we are getting computer programming. You can see it is not having any space also. So if you want to put a space in between, that can be modified here. If you want to add a space in between, what you can do, just after this first string is being appended to the or added into S3 string, there we can add a space, then start this for loop, so that in the next ith location these values, second string values will be assigned. So that logic you can think of. Okay, so that's all about the concatenation program. So all these programs will help you to build similar type of, or dealing with the characters present in a character array, or if you want to process the strings, a single string by using all these mechanisms. Now let us see a different concept that is called as two-dimensional character array. Two-dimensional character arrays. So what are these two-dimensional character arrays? Suppose if you want to enter multiple names, what we are doing, if the first person name is this one, I will write this one, then I will put an enter key, press on enter key, then I need to enter the next person name, then again press enter key, then again I need to what we need to do, we need to enter another string like PQR. So what is happening is, just like a two-dimensional integer array, here also we are forming a two-dimensional character array. Also remember that if you are asked for entering the names of various persons, all these characters, number of characters won't be same. So one person will be having some 5 characters, like one person is Raju, for example. Then after entering, the next person will be like Shahrukh. So the number of character differs. So in matrix and all, what we can see, in matrix, normal integer matrix, what we can see, they are having a fixed rows and columns. They are having fixed rows and columns. That is happening with the matrix. But in the case of string, we cannot predict that. So that is the problem with two-dimensional character array. We cannot predict that the character array will be having the same number of column always, but we can predict that what is the maximum number of what is the number of rows present. So I can say that in a class 60 students can be permitted, that we can correctly say, but we cannot say that the columns, so these are columns, the characters, the number of column values cannot be the same when we are using a two-dimensional character array. So that is the problem with two-dimensional character array. So we need to deal with such type of arrays in a separate way, not exactly same as the two-dimensional integer arrays. So let us see how we can manage these operations. So you might have understood. So it is exactly like, I'll just explain once again, like an array, this is like an array, a single row. Now in integer array also, this is like another array, this is like another array. Now what is happening is we are having array of arrays in the case of matrix. So there we are calling it as array of integer arrays. Okay, so rows we are having 0th row, first row, second row. This is one way. So we are having an array with 0th index. What is the 0th array? 0th array is again divided into multiple number of columns. Again 0, 1, 2. Then first row consists of 3 columns, 0, 1, 2. Second row consists of 3 columns, 0, 1, 2. Now when you take character array, this character number is, so for example 0th row may have 5 characters, 5 locations, 0, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4. First row will be having 3 characters, x, y, z. Second row will be having some 6 characters, p, q, r, a, b, c, etc. will be having some 6 characters present. So the column size cannot be always same. For example, when we enter some names, it will be like in this format. So some names are smaller, some names are larger. So we can treat it as a two-dimensional character array. So this will be the format. But integer arrays, this is fixed, that we can easily understand also. We can process also easily when we are taking the two-dimensional integer arrays. But see, this is 0th row, first row, second row, etc. But column we cannot predict. So we'll be having some maximum number of columns permitted, but each will be having different number of characters. So how we can process on these types of two-dimensional character arrays? So we look at some of the programs. By looking at programs, we can easily understand the ways in which we can have the usage of these two-dimensional character arrays. So first program will be focusing on to just read the name of n persons and display those names. Read the name of n persons and display their names. So you can assume, so for example 3 names are there. Read 3 names. So remember the logic, read 3 names. We know how to read a single name by using character array. So now it is changed to, I need to read 3 names, and each will be having separate or different number of characters. Okay, so idea is clear, right? So this is how we are going to, so we will look at the reading and printing. Printing will be easier if you know reading. We are following the same pattern for writing also. So let us look at the program. It's a very simple program only. We can easily do processing on two-dimensional character arrays, because two-dimensional integer arrays we require more number of loops, but in the case of two-dimensional character array already we know that for reading and all we don't require that much number of means for reading a single array we don't require any loop, but now we require multiple number of rows. So for that we need to use some iterative loops. but for reading characters as well as for reading or we don't require a nested level of for loops as in the two-dimensional integer arrays. So let us see the program. See the program very carefully. After this we'll work on one program which is little means larger than the initial, because this is only reading and printing. If you want to do some processing, that can also be done later. Okay, so now just look at the code. I am declaring three variables. N, this n is actually used for reading the number of names. I assume that I will enter the value, means I will take that while reading that. This is for the number of person. Then I and j. In this case we are actually not using a second row. I have not, this is not required actually. J is not required actually for this program, so that was an additional variables that can be avoided. Just remove that. So I am having one size, that is the number of persons I for, so we require only one loop. Now look at this statement. This is the declaration of two-dimensional character array. So the declaration seems to be exactly same as a two-dimensional integer arrays. Char names is the name of this two-dimensional array. Names is the name of this two-dimensional array. Names is the name of this two-dimensional array. Now 30, what is 30? This is exactly similar to two-dimensional integer array. This first subscript of two-dimensional array indicates the number of rows. So 30 rows are reserved, and second subscript is 30 columns. 30 columns are also reserved. So we are not going to enter 30 rows. So you can say that rows means we are actually going to indicate the names row by row. Columns means each row the characters, individual characters. So this can be up to 30, this can be up to 30. So sometimes the number of rows will be less, the number of columns will be more. That depends on your requirement. If you are having 60 students, we can set the maximum size as some 70, but we don't require 70 characters, right? So some normally names will be under 20 or 30 characters. So here you can set it as some 30, like char names of 70, 30. So 70 up to 70 rows are permitted, and we permit up to maximum 30 characters for individual rows. So this is the 0th row, first row, second row. So here you can assign this individual portion as separate character arrays. Just listen this carefully. This basic idea is very important. Otherwise, we can after that we can clearly deal on these character arrays. Multi-dimensional character arrays. So whatever be the size, let it be. So this is the format. Now printf, they enter the number of persons. I am entering 3. That means I am having 3 rows. 3 names must be entered. It is clear, I think. Scanf %d ampersand n. This n is being taken from the keyboard. Now just look at a for loop. Why we are using a for loop here? So initially I'll explain one thing. If the name of string is s1, I have declared a string with s1 of some 5. How we are reading this s1? S1 means scanf. If we are using scanf, what we are doing? Scanf s1, percentages s1. We are simply using s1. So the name of the string, the name of the string indicates the base address of a character array. That means S1 points to the base address of a character array. Now here, just listen here. Now each row present in this array, in this matrix or two-dimensional character array, is like this S1. Is like this S1. S1 means we are having only single array. Similarly, now what will happen? Now where this single row is present, it is present in S1 of 0. S1 of 0 here. Now S1 of 0 is actually holding the address of the first memory location. Now how we can access this location? That's what I am saying. Now for a single row, single character array or single string, we are using S1, directly string scan S1. That means we are having only one row. But here we are having multiple rows. We need to deal with multiple rows. So I cannot simply use S1. Or here it is given as names. I cannot simply use names. Simply use names means it is only the name of a single character array. But here we are having multiple character arrays. So this will be identified as names of 0. Names of 0. This will be identified as names of 1, and this will be identified as names of 2. Now names of 0, so names is the name of the character array. So names of 0 actually points to this array. Names of 1 points to this array. Names of 2 points to this array. So we need to traverse through these different character arrays present in the two-dimensional character array. So that is why we are using a loop starting from 0 to 2. Starting from 0 to 2, I want to process 0th row, I want to read first row, I want to read second row. Hope it is clear. In integer matrix we require 0, but column we don't need to specify, because if you get this location, as I said before, the entire location will be, the name will be collected together. We don't need to specifically each character column by column, we don't need to scan. Just get the array address, row address. Just get the next to row address. Just get the next to row address. Then we can have the maximum number of characters added into the corresponding row. Hope it is clear. Let us see the loop, then it will be little more clear. For I equal to 0, starting from this, I less than n, n is 3, I less than n, that means up to 2. Okay, just like two-dimensional or one-dimensional array. Now enter the name. So one question is being asked. So now I 0, enter the name. What I am going to scan? Scan of percentage names of I, names of 0. That means it points to this one. Names of 0 points to this one. We are not using an ampersand here. Listen, we are not using an ampersand here because in string we are not using ampersand. By default, array name will collect the address. Now which address it is collecting? As it is given as names of I, it will collect the base address of names of 0. So this is that, names of 0. Then we don't need to specify column and all. Now we can write the name here. Read the name for that single row. Then increment I to 1. Enter the name. Scan of names of 1. Now it reaches here. Points to this address. No ampersand. No column specification. So I can read a character array here. Then again one more iteration, increment by 1. Again I will be 2, increment, enter the name, ampersand names of, names of 2. This row value will be taken into the character array. So we are having 3 different character arrays together to form a 2-dimensional character array. That's all. This is the way in which we are reading. So this is a very simple concept when we compare that with 2-dimensional integer arrays, because the loop is very easier. The loop, very simple loop. Then scanning is also very simple, because if there is no requirement of ampersand, there is no requirement of column specification. Only thing is just provide the location of row. Just provide the base location of the row, names of 5. That is only required for a 2-dimensional character array. Now let us see the remaining portion. I will be printing printf names. For printing the names, just repeat the same step. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, printf percentages names of 5. Similar to printing a normal character array. So what is happening here? We are printing 3 character arrays by using a loop. As we are having 3 or more number of character arrays, we are using a loop. If we want to print only 1 character array, we don't need to use a loop. That we already know. But if you are having some 10 names to be entered, so 10 times we need to scan and print the corresponding string. Okay, so first name will be this one, first name this one, third this one. The length, column size may vary, depends on the name that you are entering. Hope this is clear. Very carefully listen to the program once again and draw the logic, or you can follow the logic by drawing a 2-dimensional character array and working off this I loop, and how to scan these members and how to print these members. And I think it will be very clear, because if you are familiar with a 2-dimensional integer array or matrix, this concept will be easier for you. Only thing is you should know the additional features of string handling. Okay, now let us see the sample output of the same program. Enter the number of persons. I am entering 4. I am entering 4 values. I am entering 4 values, and it will be printed names. Under that, Santosh, Karthik, Parvati and Mary. These names are being printed. Yeah, in the printf I have already taken, after printing that percentage s, I have included a slash n. That's why it is printed downwards. Otherwise it will be printing straightly. If you are not putting a slash n, these strings will be printed straightly. I hope it is clear. Let us look at one more program related to 2-dimensional character array. Now this is a program to read n persons, the same thing as in the previous example, and only difference is display those names in alphabetical order. So 5 names are given, the names to be displayed in alphabetical order. Now it is like sorting of an integer array. Sorting of an integer array will be in ascending order of integer values. Now this is like sorting of names, string sorting. We can call it as string sorting in ascending order or descending order, whatever it be. So you might be remembering the bubble sort program from my previous videos. So there, here also we are following the same thing, the same bubble sort logic we are following. So logic is clear. Now the difference is we are using strings in the place of integer numbers. We are using strings. So some names, we know that in a class and all we are making the roll number order. The order is being made based on the names, that is based on the alphabetical order of the names. So let us see the program. So the first portions will be easier, and if you are familiar with bubble sort, the logic will also be clear. Only I will mention the difference when we are using string, because we are having multiple strings available on each of the locations. So First of all, we are including string .h because I'll be using some string handling function here, because in these type of larger application we cannot use those logics of inbuilt functions. So it will be easier for these type of larger programs. Now I am declaring size, then this is the total number of persons as in the previous example. I is the iterative variable. We are using two for loop here. I'll tell you that because in that single dimensional array also we are using two for loops. One is for iteration, then second is for, first one is for iterating through the individual elements, second one is for interchange. So here also the same logic. First iteration, do interchange, first 0th and first, then first and second, then second and third. Just compare, interchange or swap. Next and next, just compare, then interchange. Depends on the condition, we have to interchange. There in integer we are comparing greater than. First one is greater than the second one, that's all. So in that situation, it will be compared according to the comparison. It will be interchanged. Okay, so let us see the remaining portion. Now j is used for the second phase. So first phase, one round will be finished. First phase, one round of comparison and the interchange or swapping. Then second phase, next phase again the comparison, the same sequence will be continued, not till the end. We are having some limit. Second loop we are having some limit because we don't need to go till the last, because after the first phase the last value, last string, in the case of integer array the last number is already being sorted after the first phase, but in the case of string we are having 4 strings, means the last string is already being sorted after the first phase. Then second phase, third phase we have to repeat till that entire comparison and swapping is being finished and the final sorted list is being generated. Okay, so the logic, the overall logic is same. Just imagine in that single dimensional integer array, each for example 0th location, there we had a number, but in this case in the 0th location we are having a string, the entire string. That entire string itself is a character array, that is again an array, remember that. Similarly, from an integer array, the first location, consider that first location is a character array. We are having a string there. Remember that string is again an array. Okay, so that is what two-dimensional character array. So let us see, we will see, I have declared one two-dimensional character array, names, the same name is given 3030. Then I am declaring a character array, a normal character array with 30 size, that is for storing the temporary, means like integer there we are using swapping, right? So here also we need to go for swapping. So while doing swapping we need to store the temporary value. So here the temporary value is a string. So for storing that I am declaring a string array, normal string array, and names 3030 is a two-dimensional string. Now enter the value for n, that means reading the size, scanf %d ampersand n. So read that size. For example, 3 is the size of the two-dimensional character array. Now this is the exact previous program. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Enter the name, scanf % names of I. So 3 names will be taken from the keyboard of various size, maybe slight differences between these different character arrays. So this is over. So 3 elements are now available. Now 0th, first and second. Now what is to be done? These two to be compared, do swap according to the condition. Then these two to be compared according to the condition do swap. Just think in this way. Okay, if you had one more element, for example third, compare these two, do swap. Finally this final location will be in sorted, this string will be in sorted order. Next phase again do these two and these two. Next phase only one. After, so in this case if you are having 4 elements, only 3 phases required. If you are having 3 elements, only 2 phases required. You just look at my previous video where we had the bubble sorting, where with an example I was explaining that consists of only 3 elements. So we require only 2 phases. First phase these two compare, interchange, then these two compare, interchange. So this will be sorted. So next time we require only 1, compare these two and interchange. Then the string will be in the sorted order. That's the same logic. Just remember the 0th location, now we are having a string. First location we are having a string. Second location we are having a string. There we had 0th location we had a number. First location we had a number. Second location we had a number. Okay. Now just look at the next portion where we are doing the exact multiplication. I mean the sorting. Just look at, I'll explain it in little speeder, because this is almost similar to the exact bubble sort program. For I equal to 0, I less than n minus 1. Just look at the loop, outer loop, exactly same as in the integer bubble sort. I am not giving more explanation on this. Now inside that, for j equal to 0, j less than n minus I minus 1. That is also very clear. This is for comparing and, so j loop is for comparing and swapping. This is for iterating through the rows. This is for comparison between rows, means strings. I am calling it as string. A row means a string. This is for I equal to 0 means first string. J equal to 0 means first comparison. J equal to 1 means second comparison for that same string. I mean with the next one. Okay, so we'll be comparing that comparison with whom. This is for comparison. J means they will be having 0 and 1 first. 0th string will be compared with jth string. Okay, so this is for not for rows. This is for number of phases. This is for number of phases. Okay, so exactly same logic. Just listen. If we are not able to follow this directly, we just go to the previous video where in arrays I am explaining. In array part 4 I am explaining the working of bubble sort using integer. So just look at that. There I am giving detailed explanation regarding this outer and inner loop. This is the same thing only. Only thing is I and j, they are dealing with string values. Okay. Now similar to the example there, we are doing a comparison. So here the comparison is slightly different. There you will be removing a of j greater than a of j plus 1. That was the comparison there in the integer array. But here we are using strcmp, a built-in function for comparison. I will be comparing names of j. That means first name, j is initially 0. 0th name will be compared with j plus 1, that is first string. Compare these two string. So strcmp syntax this one. If strcmp of one array, one character array, comma, second character array, this array, comma, this character array. We are getting some integer value. I have already mentioned integer value will be having 0, negative and positive. Okay, 0, negative and positive. 0 means they are equal, positive and negative. That means these values are depending on the order, in alphabetical order. That I have already mentioned while explaining strcmp. That is there in the string first portions videos. You can refer the exact working of strcmp. So if it is greater than 0, that means if it is positive value, if it is positive, means Positive means if 0 is greater than this one. If 0 is greater than this one, this is to be interchanged. That means this is smaller. That must come here. The larger must come this side. So automatically, internally, it will order. That algorithm is already there in the built-in function. We don't need to look at those, how they are comparing these characters, how they are comparing alphabetical order and all. That we don't need to bother. That the system will do. Then they need to interchange if it is greater than 0. So this is for the case when we are following ascending order, alphabetical order, ascending. If it is in descending, just change this condition into less than. Okay, so exchange will be like that based on less than 0 condition. Now after this, what we need to do? We need to swap. In integer array, what we are doing? Temp is equal to, we are directly assigning a of j, then a of j equal to a of j plus 1, then a of j plus 1 is equal to temp. That is the procedure used in integer. There we can directly, integer values, individual cell elements we can directly assign. As I have already mentioned, we cannot directly assign a string directly into another string. S1 is equal to S2 is not permitted. So what we are using? We are using strcpy. That is for copying one string into another string. So this is to be copied here and this is to be copied here. For that we are using a temporary string also. So strcpy temp comma names of j. First names of j is assigned to temp. The same operation only in integer element sorting. Then strcpy names j. In names of j plus 1 will be copied to names of j. Then temp will be assigned to names of j plus 1. So this will be moved to this one and this will be moved to this one. Clear? Then this will be continued. This loop will be continued for first phase. That depends on the number of strings present. Okay. Then after that, it will go for next phase. Next phase again, we will start the second round. Again comparison, but there we don't need to go to the n-1, less than n-1 only. So we don't need to go to the last element. Up to second last element only we need to go for. Again do this comparison, do the same step. Again if you are having one more phase, that depends on I value, increment that, go to next phase. There we can avoid last and second last. There you need to do only up to third last. Up to it reaches the first location, we need to repeat the same step. And finally, after completing all these operations, the entire the names array, names of I, if we are trying to print names of I, it will be printing the names in ascending order. Descending order, just change this comparison character. It can be changed to less than. Okay, so this is the logic. Those who are unaware about this bubble sort algorithm, just look at the integer sorting. It is also following the same syntax. Only difference is here for comparison checking we are using built-in strcmp. For assigning or swapping, so while swapping we are actually doing some assignments, there we are using strcpy. These two are the difference, and that is to be compared with the integer character, integer array. Okay, now let us see how it can be printed. So now next portion will be how to print. Just print the same array, names in ascending order. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, printf percentage names of I. So each row in ascending order will be printed. This will be the result. Okay, hope it is clear. Idea is clear, I think. Just listen very carefully. We can work on this. You add some strings by yourself and you can work on this, and you can also try that in your system also. Okay, let us see one sample output also. Enter the value for n. I am entering 4 values. Enter the name. 4 names are being entered. Then in ascending order it is printing the strings in this way. Okay, so this is one of the major program that is being done with string handling or character arrays in C. So I think this is enough for those who are studying C language for the first time, or those who want to have some basic knowledge regarding C. Now if you refer to the internet or some other reference textbooks, you can see various similar string operations, array operations, and various two-dimensional array or string, number of strings. If you are having multiple number of strings, what operations can be, so like these types of operations can be done on those single character array and multiple number of character arrays. So that's it for now. In the next session we will have the topic called as functions in C. Thank you.